Kaneki, my boy, my son, the feels that I have for you right now, it's serious. The tragedy that is Kaneki Ken's story continues through Sasaki. It really does, because we get the confirmation, though we know now that Kaneki Ken is Sasaki, same individual. However, it's not that. It's been confirmed with this chapter in him saying that he doesn't remember anything about the past 20 years of his life and everything like that. That the Sasaki persona is its own thing generated in and of itself. It's not Kaneki lying to himself, changing his ways, which would be disgusting, honestly. It would be annoying to me if that was the case, and he was just, you know, switched to the CCG and was basically like, this is my new life now, fuck all of this shit. Basically, there's two ways it can go, and I'm gonna try and make this review quick, because I could ramble on forever about all these things that I've seen in this chapter right now, but I'm gonna try and make this quick. Either Arima, you know, I think it's a combination of both. I don't think Arima had any real agency in transforming and crafting the persona that is Sasaki right now. And I feel that way because Arima seems to genuinely care about Sasaki. And even if you go back to the end of part 1, the way he was talking over Kaneki's supposedly dead body at the time seemed as though he had some genuine emotion. And it makes me question Arima's motives, how, you know, he truly feels about Kaneki, what kind of relationship there could be between them. Some people have said that Arima is Kaneki's true father, and because we never seen the age discrepancy doesn't allow for that. I'll say that right now. They're too close in age for Arima to be his father, but they could have some sort of relation. I doubt it, but I want to find out, because the way that Arima seems to care for him, the god that is Arima, and I love to see him in this chapter, which is beastly. I'm gonna get to that in a second. It leads to some questions, but I truly believe that more so, yes, the fact that his brain was fucking scrambled by Arima piercing his eyes and whatnot, yeah, that definitely played a hand in it. But my thing is, I really believe that the Sasaki persona was born when there was that reconciliation inside of Kaneki, where black-haired Kaneki said to white-haired Kaneki, you know, it's time for us to rest. It's time for us to take a break and slumber. And as of that, you know, the body's not going to cease to function. So the persona that is Sasaki was born. Out of that was born. Yeah, and also the Kakuja and his, you know, he was teetering on the line of insanity already. All those things just blend together, and it forced his mind to make the Sasaki persona. And it's confirmed that it is its own individual persona. And this persona in and of itself, Sasaki, is lying to himself. He's lying to himself. We see that with some clear indications in this chapter. For one, after he makes that joke with Urie, and I'm so glad Urie got smacked the fuck up. I'll get to that a little later, but yo, that dude deserved it. That dude deserved it. But when he makes that joke and he's like, yo, if you say I'm a ghoul, I'll eat you. Like, calm yourself down. That also leads me to a question right now. What the fuck is Kaneki eating? If, you know, now that it's confirmed that he is in fact half ghoul, because it's just Kaneki's body, it's not any sort of weird, you know, what is he eating? How is he surviving? And it's been a question that we've been asking, but I'll get back into that. But, you know, my point of the matter is, you see him crying there, being like, what should I, you know, what should I be fighting for? What should I do? And he's crying to himself. He's conflicted. He's not 100% comfortable and happy. And when he says to Arima's like, what about, don't you want to find out about your true self, about your past self, your life, your friend, your old friends? And he's just like, no, I'm happy. I'm happy right now. I'm content. And he touches his chin like this. And for those people who really key in on Kaneki's body language, his you know, random traits and quirks, you know, the cracking of the fingers, he's done that a lot in part 1. This is another one, touching his chin like this. He did it time and time again. It started happening around the beginning of part 1 when he would interact with Tsukiyama. He generally did it when he was either really uncomfortable, he was lying either to himself or to others, or you're just trying to subvert the truth, subvert the real crux of the issue of what's going on right there. He would just do that and show the uncomfortableness on his face, and you could see that on Sasaki's face, even though he was saying he was happy. He's like, I have you, Arima, you're my father, I have a family, you know, I see you as my father, I see Akira as my mother, this is the only life I know, my life as an investigator with the CCG, I have my Quinky squad, I really care for them, and those things are true. I believe him. I 100% believe him, but the Sasaki persona is in the trap that the old Kaneki, before that resolution development came to realization that he wants, his drive to protect things is heavily built in his desire to protect himself and not be alone, not lose the things he cares about, because he doesn't want to feel that. Not really because of them. And Sasaki is heavily trapped in that. He doesn't want to lose, you know, everything that he's gained in this life, that this is the only life he knows in terms of his persona, and he's scared that if Kaneki comes back to the surface of his true self, and he wants to know that, because it's bubbling to the surface that it's affecting his mentality, the memories are inserting themselves into him. You see that when he meets Nishiki, last chapter and everything like that, and he can't be 100% content. He's conflicted, but at the same time he's scared that he will cease to exist if Kaneki returns to the surface. And I'll get back into the reconciliation. I hope there's some sort of reconciliation, because if these two personas can reconcile themselves at some point in this series, and I feel as though this conflict, this internal turmoil that Sasaki is facing right now is going to lead to a lot of mental breakdowns throughout the series. A lot of, you know, just a lot of what we've been seeing already, but taken to a whole new scale. And it's going to be really apparent where when we start to see some of the older characters reintroduced. If Nishiki had this much of an effect, just imagine when Touka confronts him. Just imagine that, and which leads me to my next talking point. But that is just, Sasaki is lying to himself right now, and the tragedy that is Kaneki's story is furthered so much, and his character development is furthered so much with how Ishida's crafting everything right now. It's masterful. It's absolutely masterful. No one can tell me. I feel like there may still be proponents of being like, oh, he should have stayed dead. Bullshit. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Now, end of this chapter made me so happy because we got the double S rank rabbit, Aogiri's rabbit. There's only 2 people who have been referred to as rabbit in the entirety of this series, so we know who's going to be. And I personally know already, I can tell you, it's definitely going to be Ayato. It's definitely going to be Ayato for 2 reasons. One, it's Aogiri's rabbit. I seriously, highly doubt. It can only either be, you know, Ayato or Touka, because Touka, you know, is the original rabbit, had the rabbit mask, was going around as rabbit for the majority of the beginning of part 1. Ayato, during the latter portions of part 1, assumed the rabbit identity and was going in as the, you know, black rabbit of Aogiri, if you guys remember that. So it can either be those 2. I believe it's Ayato. For one, you could say that maybe Touka is involved with Aogiri right now, just like Hinami is now involved with Aogiri, but we don't know why Hinami has joined Aogiri, and we do know that in her relation with Aogiri, she's buddy-buddy with Ayato. That furthers it for me. That furthers it for me. But this Ghoul, I definitely think it's Ayato. I definitely think it's Ayato, just because it's Aogiri's Ghoul, because Ayato was the last to don this persona of the rabbit. And, you know, Touka, I'm sticking to my guns with this. Touka is, when Renji came to get Touka, they left, they went into hiding in some, you know, lower, out of sight ward, have been training, building themselves up. They took Rise with them. I'm sticking to that. I believe in that, and they will return, and we'll see that soon. But right now, with the, you know, with what things are focusing on, I believe we're about to see some exposition on Aogiri right now, and that's what I want. I think the steps to getting old characters back is right now exposition on Aogiri, then we get, you know, some Touka, Renji, all of them returning, and with that simultaneously the Piero stuff will start to trickle in, which is one of the things I'm most interested in. I want to see my boy Uta, I want to see Piero, I want to see what the fuck is all what they're all about. I really do, because that was one of the biggest cliffhangers for the end of part 1 for me. But, you know, I think we're about to go on to heavy shift into Aogiri with the, you know, title of the next chapter, seeing the double S rank rabbit. Like, I'm hyped, and I know it's Ayato. I know it's Ayato. I want to see how he's produced. That double S ranking just gets me hype, yo. And then with all this, you know, if we're gonna get into Aogiri, I want to see what everybody's up to, how far they progress, what the power structure is like. You know, I want to see Takatsuki, you know, I want to see what she's on right now. I want to see Noro go in. I want to see Tadada, Dr. Kanou, where's he at with his experiments? What's up with the CCG captives? Whether Ramon is ghoulified or not right now. I'm hyped. I'm hyped to see Aogiri. I want to see Hinami's role in Aogiri and how she got involved with that. And so basically, here's my breakdown for character returns based on the shift that we're getting right now and how it will relate to Kaneki's persona. I really think that we'll get Aogiri exposition right now, Hinami exposition pretty soon, and after that, with that, you know, with the Hori Chie stuff going on the side, we're going to get some Tsukiyama coming in soon enough, and that's going to be crazy. That's one of the things I'm most hyped for. Then it just gets more and more what I'm more hyped for with each reveal, and that's the path that I think is going to take, you know, Aogiri, Tsukiyama, Touka and Renji, Rise potentially. I still believe Rise is probably with them. I wonder if she's healed to a point where she's, you know, coherent at this point. And then the Pierrot stuff. So I'm hyped to get into all of that. But development of this chapter, beastly. Finding out about Kaneki. Now let's get into the Urie shit, because Urie, yo, when he got that backhand, when Sasaki was just like, shh, I was like, yo, that's what you need, son. Questioning authority at every turn, trying to subvert this dude who's your commanding officer, you know, treating him like shit. You're calling him a ghoul and how he doesn't really care about his squad when he just put his life on the line to save you. You put the rest of your subordinates in danger. And when he called him out and then Shirazu just kicked him this stuff, I was like, damn, good shit, Shirazu. Good shit. Sit that fool down, because Urie, man, he's just getting, he's a prick. He really is a prick. And yeah, he went in. He did go in. I'll give him that. He went in. He couldn't take on Serpent because Nishiki's a beast. He's a boss right now. But he went in, he tried. And I see Urie getting real jaded because of this incident. Getting demoted, having Shirazu promoted. And what Shirazu said about, you know, I'm not smart enough for this job, Sasaki. Like, why are you giving it to me? I understand why Sasaki did it. You know, Shirazu follows his instincts for one. He knows when there's something that he cannot do. He's not driven to eating himself to continue on like Urie did, and he is generally concerned about the squad and fucking above all has respect for authority. He respects Sasaki as his commanding officer, and that's what you need in the squad leader. Urie is gonna get jealous as fuck based on this. You already see the seeds of this. He's getting pissed. He's not liking it, and I see him easily manipulating Shirazu for a little bit at least. I see him challenging Shirazu's authority time and time again, and you know, Shirazu can be manipulated. He's not the brightest, like I'm saying. I love Shirazu, don't get me wrong. Urie's a prick, but he might be able to fucks with him, and the only reason I kind of fucks with Urie, even though I dislike his personality, is that he goes hard. He goes in, he has a goal. And that goal of getting to the S3 squad, yo, that I see him tainting him because he got demoted. This is hindering his plans. I feel as though he's gonna start to become more of an antagonistic figure. And that's what Urie deserves, because he's a prick. He's a dick, man. I hate him. So I see Urie going down a darker path as things start to progress, and I wonder how that will kind of play out, because he's still going to try and remain within the CCG, so I'm really interested. But you see the discrimination against Kaneki, against Sasaki, being a ghoul and everything like that. I'm just like, god damn. And Arima, which is something I want to get back to, you know, he generally seems concerned and caring towards Sasaki, and that's something I've always wanted. Like, with Sasaki and his whole reconciliation, there's only 3 characters in all of Tokyo Ghoul that I think can bring, you know, a reconciliation overall between ghouls and humans. You know, Yoshimura and all of Anteku, you know, they did that. They, you know, they weren't pushing for that per se, but they wanted to live in harmony with them for the most part, right? That was the first seeds of that. But Kaneki, Sasaki, in and of himself, being a half ghoul, half human, is the first step to that, right? In terms of his mentality and how he approached it as well. Hide, in accepting him, is one of the first steps on the human side to that. Arima's not on that. He's a god. He's a beast, alright? I love Arima. And his compassion towards Kaneki right now, I'm questioning it, because I wonder, I can't 100% trust him. I wonder if there's some sort of ulterior motive there, if they're just trying to use him until they can't use him anymore, if he genuinely cares about him, if Akira genuinely cares about him. Akira seems really friendly with him as well. I love Akira, but I wonder, and when Amon comes back, I wonder how that's going to factor into it, because Amon is the other character that, in trying to understand Kaneki near the end of part 1, granted, he did it through fighting, which is a way to understand people, and trying to figure out what Ghoul is really about instead of just having that bland prejudice against them. Those are the kinds of thought processes that will lead to a reconciliation between Ghoul and human, if it happens. You know, Ishida loves the tragedy. Ishida has been pushing it throughout the entire series, and I can very well see this whole series ending without a grand resolution between Ghoul and human. But right now, I love the fact that the moral aspects between characters, like, you know, CCG isn't 100% justice. The ghouls are not justice. Aogiri is not justice. It's just very convoluted in terms of the moral things that it's exploring. And, you know, if there can be a reconciliation, I can see it just going completely down the tragedy road. But I'm interested to see how it goes. And those 3 characters, Amon, Hide, and Kaneki, were integral to me. Hide, my boy, needs to come back somewhere. I need to find out where the fuck Hide is, man. If he's dead or not, just please somebody tell me where Hide is. Ishida, just show me Hide, his tombstone, or the man himself. And I hope the man is alive, because Hide is one of my favorite characters if you look at my favorite characters. But yo, This chapter, just finding out about Sasaki, seeing how the traits of Kaneki pervade him, and getting the confirmation that it's a distinct personality, loving that, Urie getting put in his place, loving that, seeing the god Arima and that little sparring match they had, even though it wasn't anything big, seeing their whole discussion, the whole thing about the Kafka books. And you see the love literature just pervades itself once again. The mannerisms from that Sasaki still has of Kaneki's, and seeing the SS rank rabbit, yo, I guarantee you it's Ayato. If it's Touka, I'm gonna be surprised. I'm gonna be like, oh shit, Touka is going in, she's with Aogiri now. Why has everybody joined Aogiri? What is Aogiri doing that's so great and helpful, actually? Because they seem to be about, like, they wanted revolution, they wanted some Ghoul craziness, and I don't think that's what Touka would want. I don't know why Hinami's working with him now. I can't wait to see the Aogiri exposition, and then everything else from, you know, part 1 start to trickle in, because ever since it's been 100% confirmed that Kaneki is Sasaki, this is pure like, this is the legitimacy of the sequel. This is just straight up part 2, no matter if it's called whatever you want to think of it as. I felt this way since the beginning, but now everybody else should feel that way. And anybody that wants to be like, yo, Kaneki should have stayed dead, bullshit, tell me how this isn't tragic as fuck with this persona and how everything he's going through right now. Tell me. I'm hype. And I'm gonna leave with you this question. What is Sasaki eating? Are they feeding him ghouls? Feeding his Kakuja craziness? Is he eating human beings? I don't know. Like, what is his dietary regimen? How is he surviving? And same thing, that leads me to question how the survival of people like, you know, the priest who is locked up and ghouls that are locked up and whatnot. Like, how do they feed? What's going on there? So let me know your thoughts. Hype on Tokyo Ghoul right now. I'm just loving the developments. I absolutely am. And I'm out. Peace.